Welcome back, right? We live. Charlemagne, we live. We back in full effect, live from off of Hanukkah, right? It was a great time. If you weren't there, you missed it, right? All the good food, all the brethrenhood, all the sisterhood, right? That we all loved and enjoyed. Khan? Khan? Getting y'all prepared for the summit. Right. But no, seriously, definitely had a good feast. Good little relax, good little get-togethers. Now it's time to get back on the grind, right? So y'all already know the deal with the locations. We're here in Houston at 231 FM 1092. Stafford, if you're local in Houston, come through. Every place is about an hour away from us, so that's not too far of a drive. Y'all got that. If you're an hour or less, come on through the class. We're here, we're waiting. Seats are ready to be filled, right? New year, new me coming up for some people. Now's the time. I'm capping. We got our location in Virginia, 2610 Granby, Norfolk, Virginia, right? They're there every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're in class every Monday, Wednesday, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We got Zionala out in Rochester, 1600 Lyle Ave, every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we got San Antonio, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. They're at 4444 Walsham Road, San Antonio, Texas. And again, I want to say Thawada to the brothers and sisters of San Antonio. They hosted us for basically 2 days of the feast, and it was beautiful. They got the nice event, the nice little spot where we gathered. It was a comedy club. The food was delish, right? You ever had a jerk turkey? Yee! Well, you had one that day, right? Desserts on point, spirits was on 10. So again, the water for the brothers and sisters out there, Sham Shawan, Dawiyad, Awar, Nair, for hosting, for the sisters, Ayana, and those sisters out there for the hospitality. It's always good to link up with SA. I know Rochester and VA, they linked up. You know, it's the proximity. It's a 19-hour drive, 30 hours for some to get from here to Houston, from here to VA. So it just wasn't feasible, but it's easier to do the 3-hour drive. So again, it's always good to get together with brothers and sisters in the different camps. You know, it reminds me I'm not alone in this walk. There's other brothers, sisters, children fighting for the same thing. So shout out to them. You can check us out, all the different schools on YouTube. ISBHPK San Antonio, Houston, Virginia. As soon as you type in ISBHPK, it'll all come up. We got ISBHPK Kids channel, we got Israelite Media Corp, Hidden Truth Bible Show, 5 Minutes of Wisdom, and we're gonna start making sure that we add some new videos to these different channels. We got a lot of things happening here in Houston that's gonna allow us to put some more content up. So look out for that. Prophesying that in the spirit.
Yes, sir.
In the spirit, right? Mashaba got the Blog Talk Radio going out there from Albuquerque. I think they do that every day now at 10 a.m. blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. You check that out. What do we got coming up before Passover? Purim. No. What is it that we got coming up?
The Summit and Purim.
Oh, it is Purim. Dang. Right. So we got the Summit in February, the 4th. Then we got Purim coming up Then we got Passover. All right, so 2 major events happening here in Houston. Before Passover in Virginia. Make sure you get your listen. There's brothers that still owe for their garment for Passover, right? You know who you are. They need that money. They've already ordered leather, but they got to order some other stuff to get started. They want to order pants and shirts, and so they can get started. Remember, we're the ones traveling to VA this year. So what does that mean? The earlier start, the better. That way your rib can make sure your garment's done, right? If you got to travel out, that means you got to have time to travel. So get your money in. Don't have no setbacks. Then also make sure that we got putting money aside for travel. We're gonna start setting that up here in the next few days as far as travel arrangements and Airbnbs and different things like that. So get your funds up. We got Hebrew Academy Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're doing every Monday. No, it's not Monday, Tuesday. It's Monday and Tuesday, right? So Virginia and Rochester, they do Hebrew Academy every Monday. We do Hebrew Academy every Tuesday here in Houston. Again, if you're local, come on through. If you want to learn how to street speak, street teach, you just want to learn how to teach in general, Hebrew Academy is where you want to be at. All right, that's for the brothers. If you need to contact anybody, a priest, you can contact, I'm here in Houston, 303-557-8979. You can hit up Priest Kazakia. He's out there in Virginia. His number is 757-300-4047. And my brother, Priest Zayanala, is in Rochester, 346-234-8340. We need to update the sheet. You can hit us up. If you'd like to support the businesses, we got Israelwear/Fringed Up. All right, she'll put the flyer up for that, where it's a monthly subscription. A lot of everybody in here got on down there Israelwear shirt almost. All right, yeah, I got mine under. But yeah, for $35 you get a shirt, a fringed up shirt every month, or you could do $75, get the headband and the shirt to match. Right, so whatever fits your pocket, but you get 12 shirts a year, which is real good. That's a real good come up. And they're nice shirts, nice colors, thought out in advance. So it's real good for that. We got Chosen Creations. You go to chosencreations.com on Etsy, and it's just personalized engraved wood, metals, gifts, little trinkets. We got the mall locations. And then we have, as y'all know, Sweet Ambiance. Go to sweetambiance.com. That's where you get your customized fragrances for your home, your body, your car. All natural soaps and bath bombs and beard oils, deodorants, whatever you need, they can make it. You just go to sweetambiance.com. Donations, yeah, if you want to, yeah, buddy, if you want to help out with some donations, there are some that definitely help us out, and they're consistent. For the ones that are not, please try to help out. I mean, you're really just helping yourself. When you donate, the money goes to paying the lights, paying the internet, paying the school rent. So we don't take the money. All right? We don't keep the dough. We make sure that the things for the school are taken care of. So again, when you give that money, and I'm saying that because I know how it is with a lot of people. We're skeptical. Israel is a bunch of skeptics, right? They're skeptical when it comes to their pockets. You wonder where the money is going. Well, it's a $2,000 building for us to sit here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday. It costs $2,000 a month to sit here. The internet's $250. The light bill is insane. I don't even want to talk about it. But the last one I got, I'll tell you, it was $400. So, kind of. Right? Just so everybody knows. I mean, we're trying to do our part, but remember, it can't all be on us. We can't teach class, counsel, be available, pay every single bill, and nothing be on y'all. Y'all out there in TV land soaking it up, right? We come with a lot of good classes. So all we're saying is just help out the ministry. It ain't for us. It's to keep the building going. All right. So, what did I miss? Nothing. Right. Right. So I want to. This is not going to be a long class, but it's going to be a quick little good class, and I want to talk about. I want to talk about our names and how we make our name, right? What name do you have amongst the brothers, the sisters, your people, your family, right? What name do you have? What name have you created? So you could write. You could title this class "The Value of a Name." And you can make that the first point. The first point, the value of a name. Somebody give me Ecclesiastes, I think it's 41:12. Ecclesiasticus 41 and verse 12. And sometimes, man, we don't think about these things. We don't think about these things. I know the world don't think about it because they named their daughter Boomquisha, right? What's a Boomquisha? They naming them after cars, Hennessy bottles, drinks. Her name. Oh, what's her name? Ciroc. So they're not giving no thought to what they're putting on their children's names. But think about how much thought, as Israelites, we put, especially for those that have had kids in the truth. Think about how much thought you've put on the name. Think about the spelling, the pronunciation, the meaning, right? We put thought into that because a name holds weight, and not just the name, not just the title, but a lot of the times and all of the time that name goes according to the spirit of the time, of what you're dealing with, or what you want to happen, right? So, read where we at. Where we at?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 41, verse 12.
Right.
Have regard to thy name.
He said, do what?
Have regard to thy name.
Yeah, the Bible is telling us, the scriptures are saying that we should have regards to our name. We should have a care. We should take care for the name, our namesake, and the name that we make amongst our peers. Right? And see, I want y'all to be clear when I say what type of name are you making, because you could be Yashakar, right? But you could also be the thief, the liar, the cheat, the stealer. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So you could be Yashakar the thief, right? You could be Judas Iscariot, right? The one that sold out Christ, or you could just be Judas. You could be Peter the Rock, or you could just be Peter. You see, so. What are you doing to associate different things to your name? What are you associated as? Y'all see that? So go ahead.
For that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures.
Go ahead.
Of gold.
Right.
A good life hath but few days.
Go ahead.
But a good name endureth forever.
Yeah, life is but for a moment, but a good name. Think about how America tries to promote their past presidents and their past heroes. Oh, he was such a good man, right? And they try to put all these good things on their name. Now, is it always true?
No.
Nah, it's not always true. A lot of the times you go into those men and they're corrupt and crooked. But to keep that legacy going that America is great, they got to have great men coming from the country, coming from the land. So let's associate this man's name with this heroic act, or with this feat, or with this, or with that. So think about it. Why is it that you learn about George Washington? What's he known for? What's he known for? What?
Being the first president.
Right? Well, Khan, that's one thing. Yeah, first president. What else? You said something, Benign. Come on, man. You in high school, bro. You supposed to know these things about George Washington. What's he known for? I don't even know what he's known for. Being on the dollar bill?
For supposedly freeing slaves. No?
That's Abe. That was Abe.
It was Abe.
That was Abe. He's known for the proclamation, what is it? Declaration of Independence?
Emancipation.
No. Emancipation Proclamation. I'm still on vacation. Still on Hanukkah right now. Hanukkah time. Right? But they associate these men's names, right? The forefathers with the Declaration of Independence, and you know, they John Hancock and all these different things, man. So a name has value. Think about a company like Johnson & Johnson. What do you think about a company like Johnson & Johnson? Who knows who Johnson & Johnson is? What?
Wipes, Pampers.
Wipes, Pampers, right? What else?
Baby oil.
Baby oil, right? What else? Baby powder, Q-tips. You think about them, you're like, oh, that's a reputable company, right? But they also make talcum powder, which gave a lot of people cancer, right? They also tell you to clean your ears with the Q-tips that push the earwax down, but they don't give you the bad things about the Johnson & Johnson. They give you all the good stuff because the name is important, but those names, think about how long that company been around, Johnson & Johnson. We all got smacked with the baby powder at one time. We all done got dribbled down with the baby oil, right? Right? Come on. 50-something years, 50, 60, 100 years. A company's name can live on. So the scripture is showing us that our name can live on and it's more valuable than riches. Go from there, go to Proverbs 22 and 1. Proverbs 22 and 1.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 1.
With the baby oil, right?
A good name
Go ahead.
is rather to be chosen than great riches.
Right, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Why? Because that name is going to carry you further. And again, it's what your name is associated with. Go ahead.
And loving favor rather than silver and gold.
You see that? And love and favor rather than silver and gold. Because what's up with the riches and the silver and gold? What do we know about those things? What do we know about those things? What?
Silver and gold are of value in its own way.
Right. They are of value, but does that value last forever? No. We know that gold can be melted away, silver tarnishes, right? Thieves come, rob, steal, kill, cheat, lie. But who can take away a name? Right? Who can take away the acts associated with a name? And a lot of the times, a good name will get you all those things. A good name will get you out of trouble. You see that? Go from there. Go to. Did you finish that?
Okay.
Go to Ecclesiasticus 7 and verse 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee.
I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Yep.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment.
Right. You see that? A good name is better than ointment. Because a good name can heal. It can heal things. It can fix things. It can mend the broken. Go ahead.
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
Right. So, I go to these three scriptures to show the value. There is value in a good name.
God.
Now, the question is what? A lot of the times when you deal with people and you tell them the things about them, if they're not honest with themselves, what do they tend to say?
Not true.
It's not true. That's not me. You're making it up. I don't see that. That ain't real, right? Now, when people are able to, and multiple people are able to say, well, no, look, this is what you're about. This is what you're about. This is what you're doing. This is what you're saying. This is how you're moving. Aren't you creating a name for yourself? Through what? Huh? Through your actions. So, your actions are what create your name. Again, you could be Yashakar, right? Almighty and faithful Yashakar, Issachar, Budo, right? But you could be known as, listen, we had a Yashakar in the camp before. Oh, bro. He was Yashakar the Vagabond. His last feat was flipping us off live during class on his way out from being homeless, living in the school. So I'll always remember him as Yasha Kant. Yeah, Yashakar middle fingers, homeless, because he made that name, right? We've had, not Yashakar, he's Yasha Kant, right? Disgruntled, hateful, mean little man. That's what he was. He was a mean little guy, but he made that name. He was Yashakar, but he ain't Yashakar, right? We had there's been more than one Yasha Allah. We had a Kwam Yasha Allah and we had a Yasha Allah, right? Night and day. Kwam Yasha Allah was, he'll swindle you. He'll talk. He had that New York 1970s swindle game. What I mean by that, you catch him in the streets and all of a sudden he's doing 3-card Molly with everything. What is it called? 3-card Molly? Where everything's a hustle, right? And he knew how to play the game, but he made his name as a hustler. So every time I think about that man, Kwam Yasha Allah, I'm like, oh, he was a swindler. He wasn't genuine. But then there was another Yasha Allah that was studious, book smart, diligent, on top of himself, on top of his house. So you can have the same name, but your character is what builds the name that's going to precede you or be your reputation. Y'all see that? Go from there. So you can write down for the next title, we create our own name. We create our name. We create. No one has to pinpoint who you are or what you do. You'll do what you do, and that'll be a tag that's associated with you. So, for instance, if I'm known as a liar, what does it say about a liar? Or what does it say about a lie? Who knows their lying scriptures? It's a what?
A foul blot.
Yeah, a lie is a foul blot in a man. So what is that? It's a stain on his character, right? Now, who stained him? The person that he lied to or the person that's lying? The person that's lying. So you create who you are. You create your reputation. You could be known as a liar, a thief, a stealer. You could have the most powerful Hebrew name in the galaxy. But what does that mean if the character associated with it is not an upstanding character? Go to Ecclesiastes 6:3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 3. If a man beget 100 children,
Right?
and live many years,
Go ahead.
so that the days of his years be many,
Right?
and his soul be not filled with good.
You gotta have 100 kids. You gotta have 100. Doesn't it say children are a blessing from the Lord? They're a heritage. You gotta have 100 kids. You can live, man, years. I lived a long 120 years. But if his soul be not filled with good, that stuff don't matter. Go ahead.
And also that he have no burial.
Right?
I say that an untimely birth is better than he.
Yeah, an untimely birth. What's an untimely birth? What? A miscarriage. It said a miscarriage is better than that man's life. Because it was all for nothing. There's no good in you.
Damn.
The name that you're making and creating is purposeless. Go ahead. Read the next verse, verse 4.
For he cometh in with vanity.
Because he does what?
Cometh in with vanity.
So if I'm a vain person by nature, if I'm coming about this vanity, and I'm putting vanity above my reputation, above the name, above my calling, above my duty, go ahead.
And departed in darkness.
He does what?
Departed in darkness.
Go ahead.
And his name shall be covered with darkness.
Yeah, that name is going to be covered in darkness. It's going to be a dark cloud over that man. Like I told you about the Yashala. Every time I think about him, I just think negative. I'm like, that was a negative brother. I still can't find. It's funny because he was around for a while. And the only thing I remember about him was the last thing he did, which was live in the school, get mad, and then flip us off during class. That's all I remember. I don't remember him going out street speaking with us. I don't remember flyers. I don't remember nothing but him living in the school, taking advantage, and then being mad. I don't even remember why he left. Being mad because we told him that he had to be in class if he was going to live in the school. Something like that. But look at the name he made for himself. He put a dark cloud over him. And many brothers, because of why? The way they move. Right? It's funny because there'd be so many repeat names, Jeremiah and Jeremiah. We had 2 Jeremiahs in the camp. Khan. Right? We've had many men with powerful names, many sisters, right? But they negate the name through their character. Y'all see that? You build who you are. You build what you want people to see. You could be known as the genuine person. You could be known as the fake person. Y'all see that? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 5.
No, that's it. Go to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 44. And this ain't going to be a long class. I don't want to beat the point to death. But this is something that definitely, y'all are going to see my point in a minute.
Verse 8.
Read.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 44 verse 8.
Yes, sir.
There be of them that have left a name behind them,
Right.
that their praises might be reported.
Right. Now, so when you read up in this chapter, this is talking about praising the famous men of Israel, the Moses, the Davids, right? Those men, all the prophets, the Isaiahs,
Right.
the Jeremiahs, right? So read it again.
There be of them
So of these famous men, go ahead.
that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported.
Go ahead.
And some there be
Right?
which have no memorial.
Which have no what?
Memorial.
Now, just ask yourself, which men do we really not even remember? Which men? Name the cast that was swallowed up in the wilderness. Who was it?
Korah and Dathan.
Okay, you remember Korah and Dathan, right?
Right.
But that's an easy one to forget because they did their thing and then they're gone. They're wiped out. Their name is cut off. Darkness. Let's see if I can stump y'all. Give me one wicked king. There was many, right? Give me one.
Saul.
You went for the juggler, right? Saul. What type of name did Saul make for himself? Right? And Saul was one of many. Right? Rehoboam, Jeroboam, they was off. Right? Name a wicked woman that was in power. Jezebel, right? But now, why can we remember them? And how do we remember them? We remember them for what? Not being righteous. All their evil. So it's easy. You remember them for what you did, but for what they did, but then automatically after you remember what they did, you forget them in the same breath because it's that easy. Why? Because their works only spanned a certain time. Now think about it. How many things can we think about David? How many different acts can we think about David? Many different situations. A lot, right? Solomon, right? His mighty men, David and his mighty men, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Samuel. You can go through all these men and say, "Dad, he did this, he did this, he did this. Oh man, he did this. He was responsible for this over here. He set this up over here, and this happened." The wicked is easy. Yeah, they were wicked. Jezebel killed prophets. Next, right? Saul was rebellious. Next, it's usually one negative word or one word associated with their character, with their name. Saul, rebellion. Jezebel, killer, hateful, disrespectful, right? And think about the connotation when you call a woman a Jezebel, right? That's one step away from a harlot, right? Jezebel ain't no good name. If I call you Judas, right? If I call you, hey, you acting like Judas. Oh, hey, you acting like Cain. Right? What's associated with those names? The name got one meaning, but the man's character got a whole nother meaning. But if I say, man, damn, that sister is moving like an Abigail, what you gonna think?
A woman on point.
Yeah, she moving with wisdom, with knowledge, with understanding. Right? Because the name is one thing, but what's associated with the character is a whole nother thing. Y'all see this? So hopefully y'all are understanding what's going on. I'm touching on two things simultaneously. Yes, the name, the title, right? I'm using Yashakar, right? Benaiah, right? I'm using that, but who was Benaiah in the scriptures? He was what? Come on, it's your name. Tell us. Who was he? He was one of David's mighty men, right? Mighty men's, right? What does the name Benaiah mean? The Most High has what?
Built.
The Most High has built, right? Now, do y'all understand that with every name, it can go two ways? Right? He could build. He could be a builder, but in what?
You can break down.
He could break down, or he could build negative. He could build righteously or negatively. He could build wickedly, or he could build rashly, or he could build good. See, the thing with a name is you got to live up to it, but there's more than one way to live up to it. Y'all see that? Where you at?
Verse 9 in Ecclesiastes 44, verse 9.
Yep, go ahead.
Who are perished.
Tell them where you at.
Ecclesiastes chapter 44, verse 9.
Read. Yep, go ahead.
Who are perished,
Start from the top.
and some there be,
Right?
which have no memorial, who are perished, as though they had never been.
You see that? They made their name to the point where they have never been. We're not remembering them for anything really. One or two little things that are negative and then gone. Thought, next thought. Go ahead.
And are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them.
Yeah, we got brothers and sisters that done slid into the camp, got Hebrew names, did wonderful works, but guess what they're known for? The weed smoking. Being disgruntled, being no matter what works they did, no matter what works and putting their hand to the plow they did, they're known for what? They're known for what they were really about, what they really chased. So there's certain brothers, when I think about them, I see a ganja plant for their face. There's certain sisters, when I think about them, I see a dragon for their face. Yeah. I'm like, oh, she's a dragon. The way she moves, the way she deals. She had the most sweetest name. You know what I'm saying? Her name could be the most laid back, calm name, but so what? That's not what her character comes out and shows. You see that? Go ahead.
Verse 10. But these were merciful men.
They were what?
Merciful men.
Right. So when you look at a David, when you look at a Solomon, when you look at Samuel, when you look at the prophets, they were what?
Merciful men.
They made their names as merciful men. That's why their memorial went forever. Because along with their name, along with the Isaiah, along with the Jeremiah, along with the Baruch, along with all these different names, they had the character associated to make their name mean more than just the meaning of the name. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
Whose righteousness have not been forgotten.
What wasn't forgotten?
Righteousness.
What was not forgotten?
The righteousness.
What is your name built on?
Righteousness.
Go ahead.
Have not been forgotten.
Go ahead.
With their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance.
See that? Now think about David. The Most High said, for David's namesake, I'm going to continue. I'm going to give David, because of his works, because of his righteousness, I'm going to give his seed the inheritance. So when that kingdom got split, guess what David got? Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Right? The kingdom of David. That was all off of David's works. That was all off of David, man. His name, the thing that he built through the works of his hands is what enabled him, when that kingdom split up through Solomon's actions, to get that kingdom. Go ahead.
And the children are within the covenant.
What verse you at? Go down to verse 15.
Verse 12. Their seed. Jump to 15?
No, just read down to 15.
Their seed standeth fast.
Right?
And their children for their sakes.
Read.
Their seed shall remain forever.
Why? Because now their children are trying to carry on the name. And not just the name, but the righteousness, the actions, the duty. Go ahead.
And the glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace.
Their what?
Their bodies are buried in peace.
Go ahead.
But their name liveth forevermore.
Go ahead.
The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise.
Right, so these are righteous men that did righteous acts. Noah. Why do we read about Noah? Thousands and thousands of years later. Why are we reading about Yahushua 2,000 years later? Moses, 4,000, a couple of thousand years later. Right? Why? Because look at what they've done. Look at the memorial they've left behind. Now, you had many men that did righteous things, and what? Their children were what?
Wicked.
Yeah. Look at Eli's sons. Right? Eli was a faithful man till he wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
he was a priest. He was a high priest. He was there. He was set up. He had his sons. They didn't uphold their end of the bargain. Their character wasn't upstanding. So what were they known as? What were they known as? You remember their names?
La.
Well, you do remember their names. Liars, cheaters, stealers, covetous, whoremongers, adulterers, thieves.
Yeah.
You see that? That's what their name was amongst the people. Remember, the one thing it said that always sticks with me, it said men abhorred to give the sacrifice of the Lord because of those men. They were associated with negative. What's that?
When I work in the mall, I always reflect on Eli's sons.
Mm-hmm.
To know that I
In
don't
what
fall-
respect?
so that I don't fall like them.
Yeah, because in that mall is easy,
Oh yeah.
right? Oh yeah, all the temptation, right? For a young, strong
If you let it be
Israelite cat is there.
Let it be to Texas, but I always reflect on Eli's sons all
Yeah,
the time.
you got to,
Remember that
because
story, it's scary.
what name are we trying to make? Right? We could be the guys at the cart that just talk to the women all the time and run through women, right? Or we can be what? Nah, they're upstanding businessmen. They're about business.
Right.
They deal right. They're respectful, right? But it's how we present ourselves. It's how we go about to do our duty. What's that?
And even much more too, all the people that come and remember all the men that were there before. The good names of the men that were there before. They always talk about it.
Yeah.
All the time.
And some of the bad.
Oh, definitely. Right.
That's why sometimes it's scary when they're like, hey, you know such and such. You're like, why are you asking? Because you don't know. You have brothers that they made their name in a negative way. And people still remember some of that negative and what? You got people that want to avenge some of that negative. Or you got people that want to still be about that negative and they want to see if you're about that. How you're going to make your name with them. Y'all see that? So it's very important. Go from there. Go to, did you finish that?
That was the end of that one.
Go to 1 Samuel 25:25. And we know one of the most famous names in the Bible. What's one of the most famous names in the Bible? This man right here in the ball, right? Go ahead, read it.
1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 25. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Eliab,
Right?
even Nabal. For as his name is,
As his name is, go ahead.
so is he.
So is what?
So is he.
Yeah, he fell into the name. He's exemplifying the name through what? Action. Through action. He could have been Nabal Yahushai, fool for Christ. Nabal Hamashiach, right? But he's just Nabal the fool. Because why? He dealt foolishly. He dealt as a fool. So he lived up to the title. He let the name make him. He didn't make the name.
Right.
There's always an opposite side to it. And it's how you move towards that name. You know, sometimes a name is a curse for some. They're cursed to that name because how do you move away from being a fool?
Right.
Well, the coldest part is this. Jacob was known as a supplanter, right? That's what Jacob means, right? Yaiquab, the supplanter. Now think about it. Was that name necessarily like a super positive? Nah, you over there supplanting cats out of everything. All of a sudden, people are looking at you like, wait a minute, I got to be careful for this guy because he might supplant me, right? Didn't he get Laban? Didn't he get Esau? So he lived up to that name. But this is the point. Wasn't Jacob's name changed?
Right.
Right, so let's go here. Go to Genesis 32. Go to Genesis 32 and verse 22. This is important. Just like I forget his slave name. Because he is Yashikar. He was born Yashikar. I be forgetting brother slave names. But just like we had these slave names and we lived according to nothingness, right? Because what is a Ricardo? What is a Ricky? A Ricky.
A pretty boy.
Ricardo is what in Spanish?
Richard.
Richard. Okay, what's a Richard?
Well, you know how the white man,
Yeah.
you know how the white man,
You said what?
D-I-C-K.
yeah.
Oh, Dick? Oh, Richard and Dick, right?
Yeah, Richard.
William and Bill. Right, but I mean, what is a Bill? Like your name is Bill. Robert, what's the other one? Robert and Bob. What's a Bob? A Bob? Like, hi, I'm Bob. Like, what does it mean? You ever think about that like that? What does Bob mean? You know what? What does Bob mean?
Here's the definition of bob. Of a thing. Make a quick short movement up and down.
To make a quick short movement up and down. Bob. Of a thing. Right? So I made a quick short movement with my head. I just bobbed. But you ever hear bobbing and weaving? Yeah, a quick short movement. I bobbed and I weaved. Somebody named their kid that. A quick short movement. He's a quick short movement. I mean, come on, let's think about it. It don't mean nothing, right? It has no, like, who regards that name as anything? Bob, what is it? Well, some of these names are a movement up and down. What is Bob? What does Ricky mean?
Powerful leader. Peaceful ruler. According to thebump.com, the German boy's name Ricky means powerful leader, and it's the short form of Richard.
Richard. King Richard. A lot of kings were named Richard. Right? Because I guess it was a powerful name in them times. But what does it mean? And who gave it that power? And is it that men made the name or the name made men? Well, I think more than likely, men were named Richard and they made the name. That after a while it was like, we want him to be a king and powerful, so we'll name him Richard. You see how that goes? It's like trying to predestinate a person based off of their name. What's that?
You know, in the hood, we had a homeboy and we named him Shrek.
Shrek? Yeah, what does Shrek mean?
He did ogre things.
He was an ogre. Right. Shrek the ogre. Well, y'all see the point, right? Where we at?
Look at Genesis chapter 32 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants
Go ahead.
and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok.
Go ahead.
And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob was left alone. And there wrestled a man.
So the
with him.
supplanter is there alone. Jacob, right? The supplanter. Go ahead.
And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
What does it mean to supplant?
Here's the definition of supplant. Supersede and replace.
Right. To supersede and to replace. Here comes my replacement. Supplant. To supersede, to replace definition. Let's see if it gives anything else. Another discovery could supplant the original finding. Check this out. Sometimes they'll get, to displace, to take place of, to undermine, to oust, to overthrow, to unseat, to dispose, to dispel, to eject, to come after, to dethrone, step into the shoes of, fill someone's boots, to usurp. to usurp. You see that? So it's not necessarily that there was a positive on that name, like a positive spin. Because if you're known for usurping someone or overriding, when you come around, what's going to happen? Nobody wants that to happen to them, right? So they're going to move a certain way with you. So Jacob was known as the supplanter. Go ahead.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint.
Go ahead.
As he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me.
So, what was the thing that Jacob couldn't do with the angel? What could he not do with the angel that he was able to do with Esau, Laban? What?
He couldn't usurp over him.
He couldn't supplant the angel. He couldn't Yaiquab this angel. He had to sit there and fight. He couldn't live up to his name that he made. Y'all see that? He couldn't live up to that. He couldn't live up to the Yaiquab. He couldn't find the shortcut. There was no way to get around what he had to do in concerning this wrestling. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, what is thy name?
What is thy name? Go ahead.
And he said, Jacob.
Right. But he's like, wait a minute. How good of a supplanter are you if you couldn't get me? Nah, that ain't your name. Because what was Jacob being shown? And what was the angel showing Jacob that he didn't have to supplant? He didn't have to supplant to prevail. Watch, read on.
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
Right.
But Israel.
But what?
Israel.
Go ahead.
For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men.
Yeah, you actually got real power in the eyes of the Most High and with men. You're a prince with power. You're no longer the one that got to go and dress up in a goat's fur to get the blessing and, breed the deer a certain way to get some cattle. No, you got power with men and with the Most High. But how did he get that name? He had to do the acts to show it. He had to fight. Y'all see that? He had to fight and wrestle above all else. Physical torment, mental constraint. He had to fight through all of that to really show who he was. He had to follow what his true character was, which was a fighter. Y'all see that? Which was a man that was not going to stop until he got what he wanted, got what he needed. Remember, he said, bless me. He said, he had the angel talking about let me go. He said, not until what? Not until you give me what I'm here for. So his character preceded a name. And all of a sudden now what? His name has changed. So trying to get y'all to see that your character is what determines your name. And you could have a name 1 minute, and that can be switched up just off of the way you move, the way you act, the way you think, the things that you do. Did you finish that?
Okay.
Right, so. Cancel. Next point. What name have you created for yourself? If we all create a name, if we're all responsible in creating our name amongst one another, what name have you created for yourself? There's only one way, there's only two ways this go. Either you're on the righteous side with a righteous name, or you're on the wicked side with a wicked name. Again, there's been many brothers that have slid through many camps. And when their name comes up, it's like, oh, that's the adulterer, be careful. Or, oh, that's the adulteress, be careful. And they got powerful Hebrew names. Powerful names. But their character precedes the name. Or they're living that name through their action in a negative or a positive way. Right? Go to Luke. Go to Luke 10 and 20. Read that.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 20. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you,
Go ahead.
but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven.
See, this is what we want. We want our names to be written in heaven with the Most High. That when it's time to call your name, it ain't angels dragging you to the neighborhoods of hell. But they calling your name and you got hymns and songs and all white robes. That's what we want. But what is that based off of? What you do. 2nd Esdras 14 and 35. It's what we do. Naomi changed her name because she was bitter. Yeah, Naomi did change her name because she was bitter. She said, don't call me Naomi, call me, I forget what the name was, but she said, because the Most High has dealt with me bitterly. Jacob changed Benjamin's name. Ben-O-I, son of my morning, to son of the right. Right? Sarah, was it Sarah? Yeah, Sarah named the one that, Rebecca and Rachel. Wow. Rachel named him one thing, and his dad came back and said, nope, he ain't gonna be that. He ain't gonna be the son of my morning. He's gonna be son of the right. Because why? He didn't want that associated with Benjamin. Morning? That's a heavy, damn, son of the morning. Ben-O-I, what does that mean? Son of the morning. Why are you son of the morning? Because you killed your mama. Or your mama died while giving birth to you. Who wants to be tagged with that? And how do you get out of that? No, you're going to be son of the right. Y'all see that? Right. 2nd Esdras 14 and 34.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 34. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding.
So, the name that you created for yourself is based off of how much you're willing to subdue your pride, your anger, your hurt, your resentment. How much am I willing to put those things down, subdue those things, and let the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High prevail? Go ahead.
And reform your heart.
And do what?
Reform your heart.
How much am I willing to change my mind, my outlook, my approach, the way I do things, the way I process? How much am I willing to subdue and reform? To reform something means to change, to build it back from a broken estate. How much am I willing to be reformed into the new name, into the new reputation? Many of brothers been through here that what? Been on drugs, women beating, liars, cheat, steal, and they've been able to be reformed into what? Upstanding, that is an Israelite man indeed, right? You look at them and you don't remember the former negatives, the former defects. Why? Because the name they're building from getting wisdom and subduing their old ways is that righteous name. Go ahead.
Ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy.
Right.
For after death shall the judgment come,
Right.
when we shall live again.
Go ahead.
And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest.
The names of the righteous will what?
Be manifest.
Go ahead.
And the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
Yeah, you see that? The names of the righteous, the ones that went through subduing and reformation, says their names will be manifest. Tell them where you at.
This book is 2nd Esdras, chapter 14 and verse 35.
So, again, what name are we creating for ourselves? It's about character. The name is important, though, because the names have meanings. When you look at Peleg, back in Genesis, it said Peleg. They named it Peleg because there was division in the land. But when you go through that, his name means earthquake. And then when you look, the land was divided. There was the flood, earthquakes, all these different things that happened. So he was named based off of what? What was going on. Right? Moses, drawn out. Right? Moshe, drawn out. Or Masha, he was drawn out. Pulled out of the water. You see that? So the name itself has meaning. But he could have just been Moses, the dude that was found in a carriage in the water. But what do we know Moses for? Drawing us out of Israel, pulling us out of that water, right? More than just him being sent down in a little straw basket down the river. But we look at his character. We're known for Moses doing what? Forsaking Egypt, giving up all the riches, being the commander of the army and saying, you know what, that ain't it. Defending his brethren, right? Ain't that what we know Moses for? Standing up against the Korahs, the Dathans, putting himself in between a plague and the people. These are the things that we know Moses for. Hitting the rock, but still training Joshua for 40 more years. Anointing Joshua, not complaining about his fate. Go on the mountain and die. Okay. Right? These are the things we know Moses. This is the reputation he's built. Go from there. Did you finish it? Did you finish 35?
Okay.
Right, go from there. Go to Ecclesiasticus 39 and verse 1.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, verse 1.
Right?
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
This is where the reformation and the subduing comes from. Giving your mind up to the law of the Most High. Go ahead.
And is occupied in the meditation thereof.
And meditating on the word. Read.
Will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients. And be occupied in prophecies.
Jump down to verse 4.
He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries. We have tried the good and the evil among men.
Jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. If he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000.
Yeah, you see that? The ones that subdue the old man, the old woman, like Jacob, he had to subdue the supplanter. Don't y'all see what that story is about? That was about a man wrestling himself. He had to subdue the old man through wisdom, through knowledge. Just like we got to do what? Subdue the old man, subdue the old ways, reform ourselves. This is the only way to do it. But it says you'll leave a greater name than 1,000 men before you. You'll have a greater name than any ointment, than any riches. Go ahead.
And if he live, he shall increase it.
So if you die, your name is going to ring bells across the world. But if you live, you'll continue to increase your name. Think about that. And what is it based off of? The good that you do. The fight that you put up. Who wants to be known as the person that gave up? Who wants to be known as the rebellious?
Not I.
Who wants to be known as the quitter? Who wants to be known as the hateful? It's a hateful brother. Damn, he just hateful as hell. He's prideful. He's angry all the time. I'm not angry all the time, right? Put that on. I'm angry all the time, right? He's always angry. That's what my name means. But come on, am I? Okay, y'all gonna get me on this one. Am I always angry?
No.
Nobody from my house speak. Nobody from my house open your mouth, or else I'm gonna be. They're gonna have to find a roommate. Right? In the future, won't happen. Right. So, go from there. Go to Proverbs 10 and verse 7. This ain't a long class, man. I got like a few more scriptures and that's it. Go to Proverbs 10 and verse 7.
Verse 7. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot.
And that's not what we want. We don't want to have our name rotting when somebody speaks your name. It's a rotten feeling. It's they got to twinge up their face and I don't want to deal with that brother. I don't want to deal with that sister. That's not what we want. We want to be able to somebody says your name or mentions you,
Right.
that they feel good about mentioning you. You don't want a negative connotation on you.
Right.
Man, that brother cheated me out of this, or that brother took from me, or that sister said this, and disrespectful, and that's not what we want. We don't want to build that name for ourselves. Go from there, go to Job 18 and verse 5.
Job.
In the future, won't we have a new name? Yeah. It says in Revelations, everything will be new. Right? Everything's going to be new. So I might not be Quadazop in the kingdom. That might not be my true character. You see what I'm saying? That might not be it. Yahweh Shai is going to see fit and make all things new. So the names are part of it. Go ahead.
Job chapter 18, verse 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out,
Go ahead.
and the spark of his fire shall not shine.
Verse 17.
Verse 17. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street.
So again, ask ourselves, what name do you want in the streets? Right? Many of us have made a name in the streets of our respective communities. Right? Some of us are known as the gangbanger. Some of us are known as the killer, the dope dealer. Some of us are known as the charity, the generous person. You know, what type of, if your neighbor, if I went to your neighbor's house and said, so tell me about your neighbor, right? I go to your neighbor's house and knock on the door and say, hey, tell me about your neighbor. What are they going to say? Oh, well, you know, he's always playing music loud, right? And he's always yelling and screaming at his woman, right? Or, oh, man, he's a good neighbor. If I need something, you know, I got to borrow a cup of sugar, he got it, right? He's always respectable with his noise volume. Man, it's almost like nobody lives there, right? What type of reputation are you building in the streets, in your community, right? What are we being known for as a whole? See, one of the problems that I have with the internet and with YouTube is that it highlights Israel in a bad light, right? Meaning what? Brothers could hop on there, sisters could hop on there, watch 3 classes, and all of a sudden they're a general, right? And then they go out there with lack of skills, lack of humility, lack of brotherhood, lack of sisterhood, lack of community, and they try to portray themselves as this leader, right? But then what tends to happen? Those are the ones out there cussing people out, yelling, screaming, your mama's this, your daddy's this, walking around with guns on their hip. And then what do people get to see about Israel? What name are they making for us? That we're what? We're a black extremist group. Right? That all we care about is women. Because you got those ones out there like, yeah, I'm going to get me 2 queens. I had a brother come to me at the mall. This was a couple of days ago. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get me 2 queens. I was like, how about start with 1? But in his head, he's going off of the only thing that he knows about Israelites is that we got more than 1 wife. So that's all he wants to live for, right? But look how that's been, look how that's getting, I don't know if y'all got social media and things like that, but look at how that little small, minute part of our lives that maybe 1% of brothers even know how to do or do well. Look at how that's blown up. And the name is what? Y'all are a bunch of whoremongers. You just out here for the women. Y'all see that? So we got to remember that we make the name for the nation. The name, when we go out into these streets and you wear those fringes and you got a nice Israel wear shirt on and you got the ISVHPK plastered on every garment, right, that you wear, it's basically tatted on you. What name are you making for the school? What name are you portraying out there when you in the grocery store and they see you going off on your kids, kicking them into the milk aisle, beating them down the aisle because he asked you a question, or they see you going off on your rib and they're misunderstanding and they're thinking, oh, he's just abusive. But then you got Israelite stamped across your chest. What name are you making? Oh, they're just a black hate group. Sisters, when you moving around them streets like a little thotty, right? Moving around like a woman that has no hedge, what are they gonna think about Israelite women? That we all move like that. That all the sisters, it's a game, it's a show. Head wrap, fringes. She's just a harlot. So we got to be careful the reputation that we're putting out there, because guess what? That name is being smeared on all of us. That name in the streets is very important. Go ahead. Go from there. Go to Proverbs 21 and 24. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 24.
Go ahead.
Proud and haughty scorner is his name.
Right, you see that? Proud and haughty scorner, right, is the name of the wicked, the rebellious, the ones that don't want to be reformed and change. Proud and haughty scorner is his name. Go ahead.
Who dealeth in proud wrath.
See that? So the things you do is going to be your name. From there, last scripture. Ecclesiasticus 37 and 26. So bad.
Ecclesiasticus
Should have drank all it. Go ahead.
chapter 37 and verse 26.
Go ahead.
A wise man shall inherit glory
Right.
among his people,
Go ahead.
and his name shall be perpetual.
Right. And this is what we got to ask ourselves. How do you want your name to be perpetual? How do you want your name to last through the ages? Do you want it to be in a negative light? Or do you want it to be in a positive light? And just remember that it's about your character. It's about what you do. Right? Why is an orange tree an orange tree? Produces orange. Can't call an orange an apple tree, right? No matter where you plant it, no matter where you put it, it produces oranges. Apple tree, banana, they're all known by the fruit that they bear, the things that come from them. So we're going to be known by the things that come from us, regardless of a name. The sister asks, what does the name Hepzibah mean? Let me see if I can look it up. I drank too much mineral water. Oh, wow. It's hitting me. It's hitting me. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. What does the name mean? And a lot of times all you got to do is just go to the concordance. H-E-P-H-Z-I-B-A-H. And his mother name, Manasseh, was 12. Thou shalt no more be turned, but thou shalt be called. So let's go to, let's see, Isaiah 62 and 4 is where that's at. Isaiah. Any other questions real quick? I don't want y'all to log off yet. Isaiah 62 and 4. That name means my delight is in her. My delight. A fanciful name for Palestine, my delight. So, with all that being said, y'all understand that class, right? Right. So, real quick, with all that being said, I need Derek, step up. Let's get it. I need brothers to stand. We're gonna salute Derek, and he got his Hebrew name. Mike got his Hebrew name. Ramiro got his Hebrew name. So we're gonna do this. Let me go here real quick. And I want somebody to go to Luke.
12,
Yep, you know where I want to go.
48.
Read that.
Luke chapter 12, verse 48. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes
Right,
shall
go
be
ahead.
beaten with few stripes.
Go ahead.
For unto whomsoever much is given.
Right. So brothers are getting these names as I went over in this class. Brothers are getting their names based off of their character. How long you been here?
About 3 years.
Right. So I mean, this name is very befitting. How long you been here?
Going on 2 years.
Going on 2? 2 years. Right. So we've had a chance to sit back and really watch bros and see how they move and not jump to any old name. Right? Go ahead.
Of him shall be much required.
Go ahead. So, you know, these names that y'all are getting, you got to live up to these names. Now, as I went over in the class, you can live up to your name one of two ways. It could be on a righteous, or it could be on a wicked. It could you can get the name and not live up to it at all. You can get the name and what? It can be covered with darkness. Do me a favor. Turn the camera to him. Turn the camera on him real quick. Turn the camera on. We're gonna turn it on each bro. So, and we're doing this online because for all of y'all out there in YouTube land, right? Y'all gotta have something that y'all need to be striving for, something that y'all need to be fighting for. You gotta see that brothers and sisters are here fighting, and they're putting in their break, they're doing their thing, and go to my bad. Go to Proverbs. Go to Proverbs 27 and verse 2.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 2.
Right?
Let another man praise thee,
Right?
and not that own mouth.
Go ahead.
Now,
Derek been around. He been around a lot of Hebrews. He could have came up with his own Hebrew name. Correct? He could have came with his own name, like a lot of brothers do, misspelled, wrong characters, no meaning. But what did he do? He sat back, and he didn't even know he was getting a Hebrew name until a few days ago. Right?
Right.
But at least he gave us the chance to examine and look and see and say, look, this is what we see in you. So let's see here. So instead of Derek, we're gonna have Abishaya, which means father of a gift or generosity. So, I mean, if y'all know Derek, ain't that what he is? He's a very generous brother. He gives, man, whatever you need, right? He'll help out with the cars. I mean, brothers need car batteries. Brothers need, it don't matter what it is, man. He's there to help out. So he has a generous spirit. So we felt like that was a name that was fitting. Abishaya, father of a gift or generosity. So we're gonna salute. I'm gonna salute you out. We're gonna salute you in. Right. So Make sure I do this right. Saluting out Derek. Saluting in Abishaiah. Men of Israel, I'm Michael. Barak. Yahweh Shimei Al-Shai Rakatah.
How about Shimei Al-Shai Rakatah?
Rakatham.
Rakatham.
All right, let's give him some love. We got two more. Don't hang up. We got two more. Bakar's already saluting everybody out. Right? Yes, sir. Congrats. Good job. All right. Put the camera on Mike. On Michael. So, how long you been here?
Been here 2 years.
Right. So going on 2 years. Again, another brother that came from VA, putting in that work, working in the mall, coming to class, moving and grooving, right? Doing the work. And again, he could have took it upon himself to come up with his own Hebrew name and all those things, but he didn't do that. He allowed us to sit back, and the names are important because of what a man's spirit is like and what he's dealing with. And so for Michael is going to be La Shabar, which means to break or broken. And why is that fitting for Mike? Well, just like all of us, and just like it said in Second Esdras, subduing your understanding. There's things that Mike got to break in his spirit because Mike wants to be a teacher, right?
God.
Right. So that name La Shabar, to break, is going to be a constant reminder for Mike that he has to break out of that old man. He got to break out of himself. He got to break out of that seclusion and break into the new man. Khan?
Khan.
All right, so we're going to salute Mike out and salute in La Shabar.
God.
Right. Where's Locker Rob when you need him? He's better at this than me. Saluting out Michael, saluting in La Shabar. Men of Israel, I'm Michael. Barak. Yahweh Shimei Al-Shai Rakatah.
Yahweh Shimei Al-Shai Rakatah.
Give him time. Give him some love. We got one more. We got Uno Mas. Put the camera on Ramiro.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Good job. Gotta live it. Gotta do it. Gotta make it happen. All right. Last but not least, our brother Ramiro. How long you been here?
2 years.
Right. So, Ramiro. Been a struggle, right? Been a fight, but you're doing your thing, and I ain't gonna lie, bro. I didn't think you was gonna make it this far. I'm being honest, and I'm getting a little emotional because it's been a lot of work, but you're here. Right? You here? You fighting? So let me get through this real quick. Hatazar, which is the rock, and we chose that name because, pardon me, let me fix myself. We chose that name because, looking at this brother dealing with his family, the way he deals with the camp. When he is in the right mind, he is like a rock. He's a brother that's dependable. He's a brother we can lean on, but most importantly for his family, without him, they need him. It doesn't matter what mind this brother is in, they look at him as that foundational piece. So the one thing I'm gonna say out is, you can live up to that name. You could be the rock that your family, the brothers, the camp leans on, or you could be that stumbling stone for your family. That's up to you. All right, so Hatazar, right? Hatazar, right? Hatazar, the rock. All right, so let's salute him out real quick. So saluting out Romero, saluting in Hatazar, men of Israel. Imagine Barak.
How about you,
How about you, Shabrakadam?
Take him a time. Let's give him some love. I get emotional for promotions. Don't mind me. I get emotional. Make sure y'all update the contact list. Everybody else online, let's say shalom. Shalom. We'll see y'all later. Shalom. Yes, sir. Good job.